Rey Mysterio is no doubt one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time, a universally loved icon who transcends generations to the point where if someone tells you that they don't like Rey Mysterio, it is instantly a huge red flag. And while all of us fans, young or old, all love Rey Mysterio, in the kayfabe world of wrestling, everybody hates Rey Mysterio. Despite being one of the most successful wrestlers of all time, this man's career has been filled with some of the most insane disrespect you've ever seen any wrestler face. From betrayals, to injuries, to getting thrown off buildings, to more betrayals, to just straight up bullying, Rey Mysterio in his WWE career has been a certified victim. It all began back in 2002 when Rey finally made his debut in the company, and instantly upon his arrival, Rey became a fan favorite, and instantly upon his arrival, his bad luck began. Just a few months into his run, Rey found himself in a feud with the Big Show, and by feud, I mean we got a giant Neanderthal torturing a tiny Mexican man on live television. Once Rey started beefing Show, it really set the tone for the rest of Rey's career. We started seeing shit that just didn't make any sense. On an episode of SmackDown back in 03, Big Show put up to the main event and just casually grabbed Rey and tossed him into the crowd. Not the front row, not the second row, nah, he sent his ass all the way to Mexico, and the show just went on like nothing happened. And at that point, you would assume that that would be enough, right? Like there's no need for more violence against Rey. Nah, at the pay-per-view, poor Rey is getting this done to him. Nothing, no protection, nothing to break his fall, straight CTE to the dome, a grown man getting tossed around like that. It makes no sense. But honestly, it was just another day in the life of Rey Mysterio. As the years went on, things just got worse and worse for poor little Rey. 2004 comes and JBL at this point becomes SmackDown's biggest savage. Deport the Mexicans, build a wall, you know the deal. And while JBL was in a feud with Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio stepped up to help his good friend against the evil JBL. He wanted to hold it down for his best friend, he wanted to hold it down for his people. Rey wanted to stand up against the bully. He proceeded to get destroyed for 10 minutes straight. JBL on an episode of SmackDown for no reason just kills Rey Mysterio. No joke, the longest squash match I can recall. For 10 minutes straight, including a commercial break, for good measure, JBL does everything he can to basically deport Rey Mysterio to heaven. Power slams, suplexes, punches, you name it, everything and anything. JBL did more moves in this match than he had for the past 5 years before this. JBL pulled up with a custom moveset just to bully Rey, and the worst part was during this assault, nobody came out to help Rey. Not Eddie, not any referees, not any trainers, not Funaki, nobody. And that was just the beginning, because once 05 came, getting beat up by a racist was the least of his worries. 2005 was the infamous year in which Rey was just supposed to be in a nice cute little tag team with his best friend, all fun and games with Eddie Guerrero. Instead, it turned into a situation where Rey almost lost custody of his son. Wait, what? Eddie and Rey, while tag team partners, ended up having a friendly competition to see which of the two were truly better, and when Eddie kept losing the one-on-one matches, let's just say it became personal. Eddie lost to Mysterio 2 times in a row, and he was like, screw it, I'm breaking up a happy home, and proceeded to tell the world that he was indeed Dominic's papi. For a solid 3 months of television, every single week, Rey Mysterio would come out and get bullied by Eddie Guerrero, his former best friend. Week in and week out, he was reminded that Eddie was Dominic's true papi, and that Eddie wanted him back. Poor Rey pulled up to the company 3 years prior to this, right? He was all excited, like, yay, I'm gonna be Cruiserweight champion, I get to work with my friends again, my son will get to see me wrestle every week. Yeah, fast forward 3 years, your son is getting taken away from you, buddy. Get ready to learn Chinese. It is one of the most insane and infamous storylines the company's ever done, and it's like, of course, it's Rey Mysterio getting clapped. Of course, he's the one getting betrayed by his best friend, and his son's getting taken away from him. But Rey holds it down for his son, and he proves to us that he's a top-tier father. The year ends with a sad passing of Eddie Guerrero, and Rey ends up in a tag team with Batista. They become best friends, and it was a really fun friendship that we saw form out of nowhere. Rey, though, at this point becomes a man on a mission, because despite the issues he had with Eddie, after Eddie's passing, he reps his old best friend like there's no tomorrow. Rey tells the world that he's gonna go and win the 06 Rumble and go on to Mania and become world champion, not only for himself, but for the late great Eddie Guerrero. And he wins the 06 Rumble against all odds, repping Eddie to the fullest, and it's like, wow, finally, Rey did something. Rey's gonna go get his moment at Mania. Finally, for a few months, Rey might not get bullied. Things are finally looking good for him. And at this point, there's no one to betray him either. No, remember, this is the Rey Mysterio story. Everybody hates this guy.
Eddie ain't in heaven. Eddie's down there in hell.
Rey, in something that would only happen to Rey, of course, ends up in a situation where he wins the Rumble, yet for some reason ends up in a match against Randy Orton at No Way Out, where his Mania shot was on the line, and you would assume that the guy who won the Rumble would double down and win again and go on to Mania and win for his dead friend, right? It's Rey Mysterio. Rey loses a match to Randy Orton and gets absolutely bitched. I don't know what else to describe it, and he's out of the main event of WrestleMania, and I swear after this happened, it was like the most depressing 2 weeks of SmackDown I've ever seen. But it's fine, it's Rey's time, and Teddy Long holds it down for him, and he adds him back to the match at WrestleMania. And at WrestleMania 22, Rey's legacy is cemented when he wins the triple threat match and becomes World Heavyweight Champion. The smallest world champion in the company's history. Against all odds, Rey did it. From getting tossed into the crowd, getting beat up every week by giants, almost losing his son, Rey, 4 years into this run with the company, won the big one. And it was such a sweet moment. He won the title, he celebrated with Eddie's family, he celebrated with Vicky, Eddie's widow, he celebrated with Chavo, Eddie's nephew. His own family was nowhere to be seen, but it's fine, I guess. He did it for Eddie, and what a win it was. And this began one of the greatest title runs of all time. No, it's Rey Mysterio. So instead, this began one of the saddest, most depressing title reigns of all time. Yo, you would assume that when he's the champion, he might get some solid booking, right? You would assume now that he's champion, he might not get killed every week. No. Now instead, Mark Henry tortures him every week on SmackDown. Donald Trump is back to bully him. They flew in the Great Khali straight from India just to destroy him. They even brought in Kane from Raw to SmackDown to beat him up. Every week, Rey is getting his ass beat. He might have been the world champion, but yo, he was not treated like one. And even when he did beat someone and defended his title, such as JBL at Judgment Day, just look at the state of him. He was literally Kenny from South Park, just dying every episode. And just when things couldn't get any worse, Chavo Guerrero, the most useless member of the roster, betrays him and costs him the title. Yes, the same idiot who Rey ran to celebrate with at WrestleMania 22 instead of his own family ended up costing him the title. And after this, things got bad. Poor Rey Mysterio just hit the gutter. To add insult to injury, he was just out here getting abused by the Guerrero family, the same family who we tried to hold it down for, to help out, to make sure Eddie's memory doesn't die. Nah, sorry Rey, they hate you, buddy. And before you know it, millions of kids around the world are watching SmackDown, and they get to witness Rey Mysterio hung upside down by the stage getting his leg broken by Chavo Guerrero while screaming, "I quit." Cheers. Son's crying. Nice one. Everybody hates Rey Mysterio. Yo, do you know how fucking depressing it was watching this as a kid and seeing Rey Mysterio get killed by Chavo Guerrero of all people, getting his leg broken, him screaming, I quit. I cried. I genuinely cried watching this. So at this point, Rey gets injured for real, and he misses a solid 8 months of action after this. And after everything he had been through for the past 4 years, maybe it was for the best, right? You can't get betrayed if you're at home, right? You can't get bullied if you're at home. It was a nice little break for Rey, especially considering the fact that when he did come back, things were somehow gonna get even worse. Rey comes back at SummerSlam 2007 just looking absolutely disgusting. He thought he was a Silver Surfer, instead he just looked like an idiot. At this point, the costume designers betrayed him, bro, because what the hell is this? But Rey comes back and he wins his first match, and everyone was so happy to see him, right? One of the biggest selling points of the actual pay-per-view was Rey's return, so he came back with a lot of momentum, and it felt like we were gonna get another huge Rey push. Everyone was so excited, everyone was down. SmackDown felt like must-watch TV, and what better way to bring Rey back to reality than have the Great Khali traumatize a generation of wrestling fans? What the f? It took 2 weeks. After missing 8 months, it took 2 weeks for them to kill Rey Mysterio. They had the Great Khali go out there and crush his head like a watermelon. This was one of the most disturbing, violent attacks on any wrestler back in the day. And of course, it was Rey. It had to be him. Of course, we had to watch Rey get this done to him. Watch him get the chalupa juice squeezed out of his head. And this was it. This was another moment where kids all over the world were crying. We were traumatized. We were hurt. We were disturbed. And the wildest part about this was, it took 2 minutes for Batista to come and save him. Rey was literally dying in the ring, leaking, pouring, the most he's ever died, if that makes any sense. He's been dying a lot, and Batista just took his sweet time. He even waited for his music to hit to come down, and by the time he does come out to save the day, even the fans are just like, well, what is the point, bro? And after this, it was just a wrap. Every single week, something was happening to this guy. It made no sense. Stuff that you couldn't even predict. Stuff that could only be written by people who genuinely hated this man. One time, one of his ops literally did a fake stretcher job just to lure him in so we could clap him. I'm sorry, what? Big Show comes back to the company. Who's the first person he's clapping for no reason? Who do you think? Rey Mysterio is a wrestler who always shows love to his fans when he comes out, right? How does he get repaid for that? How does he get thanked for that? How about getting clapped like this? Next thing you know, he's getting his mask taken off on pay-per-view. He's running for his life, and just to make things even worse for him, his family's getting traumatized again on live TV because they hadn't taken enough before. And by 2009, it's like, wow, it's been a few years since he got betrayed. So what time is it? Hey Batista, it's your time to shine, playboy. And just like that, another one bites the dust. Another friend turns on Rey. By 2010, it was sad. It was actually depressing. Every year, somehow the bullying, the betrayals, everything just got worse for him. It's like nobody cared about him. Nobody ever helped him. Nobody ever wrote out for him. And if they ever did, it was always too late. Yo, it just got sad, and the perfect example of everybody hates Rey Mysterio is when he ended up in a little feud with Jack Swagger. It was the summer of 2010, I remember this vividly, and Jack Swagger had been targeting Rey's ankle for weeks, okay? On an episode of SmackDown, Rey eventually ended up in the trainer's room. He was clearly hurt, and he was feeling the effects of the attacks. He wasn't doing well. Jack Swagger pulls up to the trainer's room like the biggest demon and tells everyone to get lost. He grabs Rey's ankle and just proceeds to put him in the ankle lock, and Rey is out here screaming for his life. He's crying, he's pleading. Once again, Rey is dying. And Swagger just keeps going with a submission, and before you know it, Rey is getting dragged out of the trainer's room, and it's like, damn, okay, this is a pretty solid attack, you know, nice booking, nice way to get heat on Swagger. The issue was, the ankle lock didn't stop. Jack Swagger proceeded to have Rey Mysterio in the ankle lock for 3 straight minutes. 3 straight minutes, dragging him all over the arena from the backstage to the front stage. Dog, 3 minutes? Yo, you could have went to your kitchen, got a bag of popcorn, put it in the microwave, made it, ate half of it, came back, and the ankle lock would have still been going on. And yo, nobody cared. Nobody cared. Nobody stopped him. Nobody did anything. Nobody saved him for 3 minutes. For 180 seconds, this man was getting his ankle turned to dust, and nobody moved an inch until the big slow pulled up 3 minutes later. And at that point, it's like, what was even the point of that, bro? Just leave it. It's done. Everybody hates Rey Mysterio. The bad guys, the good guys, friends, enemies, referee, wives of friends, his own family, John Cena. They had 2011 Superman Make-A-Wish Foundation High Chief John Cena do Rey Mysterio dirty. That itself is so insane. They had Rey Mysterio go out there in 2011 and win the vacant WWE Championship. It was like the coolest thing ever. Nobody expected it. Wow, Rey's champion. And they made his title run last less than 90 minutes, less than an episode of Raw. He won the title to open up Raw and couldn't even make it to the next show as champion. He couldn't even take the title home to show his kids and come back next week and lose. Nah, they had John Cena pull up, challenge him to a match. He just loses. He just gets slapped. It makes no sense. It just absolutely embarrassed, just absolutely taken advantage of. It makes no sense. Rey even left the company, came back years later, and guess what? Everyone still hated him. If anything, they hated him even more. Next thing you know, he's getting thrown off a building. I'm not making this up. He got thrown off a building. And if that wasn't enough, yo, we had to go even crazier. Hey, we need someone to take someone's eye out. Who's available? Rey, come here. We gotta take your eye out. I'm sorry, wait, what? Rey Mysterio in kayfabe during COVID got his eye taken out by Seth Rollins. How do you even think of this shit, bro? Yo, it doesn't matter what generation you grew up in. If you're a 90s kid, 2000s kid, 2010s, at this point, the 2020 kids are gonna be seeing Rey Mysterio will be getting bullied on TV. Fast forward to 2022, his own kid, his son, the same little idiot whose custody he fought for in a damn ladder match, becomes a wrestler, and even he turns on Rey Mysterio. Even his son, every single person he knows turns on him and does him dirty. His own son proceeds to go around telling the world how his father was a deadbeat. He proceeds to go back home with his emo girl and do this to him. So you know what, it turns out I'm wrong. I guess you can be bullied at home. And the most unfortunate part is, fast forward to present day, fast forward to 2024, Rey Mysterio is still out here getting betrayed to this very day. Rey Mysterio is now a 49-year-old man. He's in the Hall of Fame, which, by the way, even his speech couldn't go on without him getting disrespected. He's still out here getting betrayed by old men, by young people, everyone. The more things change, the more one thing always stays the same, and that's Rey Mysterio getting clapped. Like, at this point, the only thing left is for someone to pull up and shoot him for real, and at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised. 20-year history of betrayals, friends turning on him, family turning on him, bullying, eyes getting poked out, thrown off buildings, broken legs, broken everything, whatever you name it. This man has been through it all, and we reached a point where it's like, yo, everybody except us, the fans, for the past 20 years has clearly hated Rey, right? So the question is, have we been bamboozled? Is Rey Mysterio the problem? I mean, yo, when you look back at it, when you look back at all this stuff, I mean, his best friend turned on him, his family, his own son, his close friends, his colleagues, Batista, Eddie Guerrero, you name it. Maybe there's a reason why nobody came out to save him when he needs saving until it's too late. Maybe Rey's the problem. And it just gets you thinking, it doesn't make any sense. Well, what if Rey Mysterio was a deadbeat father? I mean, he did tweet this back in 2013. Yeah, you can't wait to beat your kids, Rey? Huh? Is that what you said? Why didn't Rey just let Eddie win his match back in 05? Was his egos really that big that he risked destroying his family just to win a few matches? All these things, when you really look at them together, it's like, hey, maybe Rey was the problem. So I guess the question is Rey Mysterio the biggest victim in wrestling history? Or is Rey Mysterio the biggest problem in wrestling history? I think it's time we have a very uncomfortable conversation about Mr. Mysterio. Let me know in the comments down below, is Rey Mysterio really a victim or is he the problem? I don't know, just been noticing some things.